Hi, host Eric here, host of Talking with Famous People, and I am here with famous person Unify, famous person Mr. Haberdatcher, famous person JD, in an unannounced GTM session and an unanticipated video making here. After I made videos earlier,
Collaboration.
yes, we're collaborating. I'm making a video right now, and that's the topic in general. Earlier this evening, I said, "Oh, Mr. Haberdatcher, I'm done uploading and tagging some videos and stuff. Why don't we meet on GoToMeeting briefly, and I'll talk to you about the concepts and the projects and stuff that I think we, in theory, could find ground to collaborate on." And because he's expressed to me that he likes to do voice acting stuff. Well, I have voice acting stuff too that's of intermittent quality and like comedic material that, as Mr. Haberdatcher pointed out, needs some editing. But it functions as a storyline too, so it's not intended to be just straight up comedy. So ideally,
Yeah.
it would be taken more in context of the narrative arc, I guess. But regardless, the point is, we're talking now about sort of collaborative styles and how that stuff happens. Mr. Haberdatcher expressed a concern that he doesn't like trying to start stuff with people and they don't follow through, which is a massive problem for everybody in life. People don't like to commit to projects, and when they do, they don't like being bound by the amount of stuff that's entailed in being committed part of that project. And so,
And some people,
go ahead.
and some people don't like to commit to anything if they don't feel like it's worth it. People like me or ENTPs.
INTPs have their own unique set of difficulties that stem from having SE in the seventh slot.
True.
I think that it's important for INTPs not to internalize their past difficulties with action, because that TI-SI loop will make you feel locked into a rut that defies action. And I don't know. I don't have easy solutions for INTPs. I've come to understand that the INTP challenges are challenging. They're not. It's not as easy a life as I thought it must be.
Yeah. Yeah.
When talking about collaborating on a project, then there's an issue that I think all types need to think about and address and reflect on, because all types at some point in their life are going to collaborate in some sort of capacity to do some kind of work with some other types. So the world as a whole, I think, has moved towards an understanding of collaboration and of projects that's of smaller scope, and that is
Hello, friends.
hello,
Hey.
Abraham.
Hey, Eric.
Yeah,
Justin blew my mind with intersectionalism.
intersectionalism.
Yes. And how it smashes the privilege argument.
What does that mean? Okay, you came in the middle of a conversation. I was like, what
Hey,
are
I
we?
know. It's crazy. I know. I just figured you had this conversation with Justin before. I don't know. He's here now, but so basically, we were talking about like the whole police brutality stuff and like racism and privilege stuff. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm just saying that was some crazy shit.
I'm
On
sure.
my
Yeah, I was talking about how. Are we interrupting something?
Go ahead, Justin. It's already thoroughly interrupted. At this point, I'm curious to hear what this is all about.
Okay, so I was telling Abe, and Abe was firing back at me that the conception of privilege does not accurately apply to the real world. I'm not saying that inequality doesn't exist. I'm not saying that some people have it better than others. But I think that simplifying it into the idea of privilege doesn't necessarily take into account the different intersections of identity that do exist and apply independently to different kinds of people. We understand the notion that no two people are oppressed all the same, right? No two people are under the same, constructs of oppression. But that's directly opposite to the conception of privilege, because privilege tries to, aim a simplified notion of who has it good, who has it bad, into the world, which does wash over a lot of intersectional kind of discourse.
Yeah, and you're right, but and where Mr. Haberdatcher, I will not let us get entirely sidetracked here. Let me finish this thought here.
I was just gonna make a joke. I was just gonna make a joke for just a quick second. So we were talking about how this was all about comedic effect in shows and stuff. If this was a show, right after that statement, this is where my mind would be exploding with nuclear bombs going on in my head. I understood none of what they just said.
Well, he basically he's referencing a conversation that he knows I'm well familiar with. What personality types are in here? Well, Coach Abe, you're ENFJ. Justin is ENFP, I think. Mr. Haberdatcher, I believe, is ISFJ. I'm not sure. Unify is INTP for sure. JD, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever spoken to JD. But,
Alright, cool.
Anyway,
so, what were you guys talking about?
Well, okay, we're talking about collaboration styles. How two people can work together in ways in which neither person feels that both parties have shared sets of expectations about what's going to happen, and there's not.
Well, that's easy.
It's not quite as easy as you think. I mean, people have talked directly about it beforehand.
You just have to put a handle on stuff, like Eric says, and then it just happens.
But for some people, that just don't work. Some people don't like, direct rules and, bullet points.
That sounds like ENTP ADD people. I'm just kidding, Eric. No, but seriously though, that's so people like that though, it's like, how do you manage? What the fuck? What does society do with you? Do they just look at you like?
Well, that's the problem, right?
Okay.
I mean,
that's why we struggle so much.
INTPs and ENTPs have different variations of that issue. We're not exactly the same.
They're not. Oh, yeah, I understand. Yeah, I like to generalize though as a joke.
Well, but it doesn't matter. It's reasonable to generalize a lot of things about NTPs. INTPs and ENTPs are very similar in a lot of ways. When you try to go, if you're trying to type them based on text, content in their text and comments, it's really difficult because if you get a harsh INTP, they seem just like an ENTP in text. They write the same way, But regarding this issue, it's a little different. Regarding to put a handle on it shit, ENTP, remember, is energized by activity. So the challenge for the ENTP is getting activity starting, things happening, and then the actual action undertaken sort of takes care of itself. But anyway, what we're talking about is collaboration, and that's relevant to collaboration because Mr. Haberdatcher wants reliability, predictability in a projected project, and that would be consistent with ISFJ, and he is considering engaging in some sort of collaborative project with an ENTP. So he's got conflicting.
Yeah, I see something though.
What's that?
Yeah, I see something though.
Sure.
If it's not too long of an answer, what similarities are there with the ENFJ and the ISFJ? Like differences?
Not a whole lot, except that both types are going to have epi fairly high up in the mix, but the ISFJ is introverted sensor first. So whereas you're fairly loosely organized and intermittently organized, ISFJs would tend to have a better concept of themselves through time. You're better organized than me, but ISFJ would be better organized than both of us. There's other things, but moving forward into the collaboration styles. The thing is, collaborating with an ENTP can be difficult unless it's within a very loose framework, because we don't like to be constrained at all by specific expectations or dictates or outcome-driven metrics. When we talked about, like, okay, well, here's some things we could collaborate on potentially, and when we discovered a barrier of sorts in that we both would like to see these things that are animated. It's not just you. It's not like I think the animations I put up are adequate or what I'm looking for. What I would consider those videos are proof of concept videos. And I mean, I tend to position things always as a piece in a huge puzzle that ultimately involves me collaborating with a lot of people in a lot of different ways, and giving up control of stuff is not a particularly big issue for me. I don't mind saying, yeah, change it as you want, or do whatever you want. But the problem is, there's this competing issue of, well, we want to get something done. You want to complete something because you don't want to just spend time working on something and have the other person bail or get bored or whatever. So my solution to that was to suggest, well, why don't we do a quick and easy project, which is how I operate best. Quick and easy one-offs, And that's why I suggested we do a proof of concept video like the one I linked to YouTube, which was a grapefruit one. Now, at that point, we encountered what I would call conflicting values within you, which is that, on the one hand, you're concerned about project completion, on the other hand, concerned about project quality. That's the core conflict in making any YouTube video, as far as I understand it. If there's going to be a conflict in the sense that you got to prioritize one thing over the other.
Well, I mean, if it is a proof of concept video, then it's a lot like a demo. So I guess I could let go of the quality if it's just meant to be a concept, an idea, a rough draft of something. I would be totally fine with something like that.
Okay, and hold on one second. And what basically Unify or anybody else who has any comments on this thing, comment now. But I'm gonna go kill this spider, and I'll be right back.
I have a fun. I think you
show us your spider.
Okay, everybody, I'm the new host here. I own Talking with Famous People. I make all your comments null and flawed. I'm your dictator now, and I will now sleep.
Okay.
Do we have to take it in the butt?
Well, I'm straight, so just go hide behind some box and do it on your own time, just not in public.
Okay.
Gay for pay. He's gay for pay. Every straight guy is gay for pay. Josh, I don't know if you could hear me.
Can't hear you just yet.
You're like mumbling. I can hear you a little bit.
You should have showed us the spider.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're talking about what I came here to talk about.
Privilege.
Well,
here's what I have to say about that. It's absolutely true. I mean, the thing is, there's not a ton of places to go from there. The thing is, all that liberal critical theory shit collapses as soon as you acknowledge that it's all based on a reification fallacy of assuming that this fictional group that you assign to a set of people, individuals that isn't even very well defined, that this justifies behavior or decision making. It's insane.
You know what? I realize that I make a lot of arguments based off of like, I don't know if it's pathos or pathos.
You mean your feelings?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, shocking as a FE Dom. That's shocking.
But I think that's why I was so good at Congress, though. Instead of like flow debate.
I find
Right?
that depressing, though, Abraham.
That's sad, but I don't know.
Congress should have the same level of rigorous.
Yeah, that's true.
Rigorous argumentation that flow debate does. It's more,
That's
if
true.
anything, it makes
It
public
doesn't
policy,
because-
for Christ's
It
sake.
doesn't because it's a short amount of time that you go up and speak. I think that's the reason why. I mean, no one's gonna go up there and be like, Strauss 2016, and then like read a card, you know.
Well, they make decisions.
But I feel like I was also very like against my feelings sometimes. Like I did make a lot of conservative points that I didn't like. And I feel like even if I had a flow debate coach, I feel like I would have done flow debate and I would have made some arguments that I wasn't entirely for, but that felt or that were not felt, but that were like the right arguments to make in the right circumstances, including race is not a thing, right? Like that to me instantly sounds like what the hell is going on, but it'll make sense, right?
Yeah, I think what happens is I experience this phenomenon as well. There are arguments I don't like to make. There are arguments I don't like to make because I think they're wrong, and I don't like to make wrong arguments. But sometimes we make them anyway because they're winning. Winning arguments are not they're winning because of the timing formats, not because they win the actual argument chain. Then I'll make those kind of wrong arguments sometimes. Ones that are too complicated to unravel. We'll make those arguments plenty, I guess. But when I can, I like to conform my case to the truth. It makes it stronger.
I think I've come here for all I needed. Remind me to talk to you about the Taiwan app.
About the what stuff?
Taiwan app?
The what?
Remind me to talk to you about the Taiwan app.
The Taiwan app. Oh, cool. You talking about policy app?
Yeah.
You talking about my Taiwan policy app?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, cool. I do want to talk to you about that. Justin, I didn't know. I don't know under what auspices you arrived here. First of all, I would point out that I didn't put up any videos saying like, oh, we gotta go to a meeting right now, and there still are 5 people here, and it's the middle of the fucking night.
I said remind me to talk to you about it.
What's that? You said Abraham told you to come talk to me about it? Is that what you said?
No. What? I said remind me to talk to you about it, not right now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, great.
Really?
I will. Thank you for stopping by, Justin. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
I'm leaving now.
Goodbye, then.
Are you leaving? Oh, God. You left. Jesus Christ. That's sad.
Justin doesn't want to hurt my feelings, but he told me he doesn't like the case. That's fucking ENFP for sure, right? That's it in the ENFP and the ENTP. As if my feelings would be hurt because he didn't like the case. I have my doubts about it too. It's my very first fucking just arbitrary.
You have to remember, only you can see that message.
Yeah, I know, but did you? I don't like private things like that, right? That's to me that's silly.
No, I'm saying because they don't know what you're talking about.
Oh well, I just read it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Or just build a wall.
It just says Justin doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but he told me he doesn't like your case, the Taiwan case. That's fine. He doesn't have to like it. I can tell you what his objections to it are anyway.
I think he said that.
Topicality. He's going to say it's not topical.
No, he said that if you mess something around the lines of messing with Taiwan would be like war with China or something. I don't know.
Right, but here's the thing. You obviously don't do that case. That's why I'm doing it. It's the one case you couldn't possibly just by trying to run, because everyone's going to go immediately for this big, fat, crippled deer called nuclear war links.
I agree.
So what I'm
I
saying
feel like
is,
if you can argue that well, that you should be able to take that approach. I'm confident in your policy skills.
yeah, 'cause what I'm saying is, know that, say, here's where you're going to attack me. And then have all your fucking tanks right behind that hole. And just say, fuck you, you're not going through there. Yeah, I mean, seriously, you're not winning the fucking nuclear war link. It's bullshit for one thing. And
Can you bring up apocalyptic rhetoric against
yeah,
that?
well, I mean, this is part of why the case appeals to me. We had success running that half-assedly at Nationals, at last-minute edition kind of a thing. I'll fucking put together an Apoco talk, K, that is much stronger than that, for sure. I like the strategy. You know, it's exactly what you shouldn't do.
All right, let's hear your comment on what Mr. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Haberdatcher.
Something about how equality was like a if it was like something. I think he said like if it was a certain construct that was more specific, that he would agree to it or something. Or I don't know. I forgot what he said. What did you say?
Me?
I don't remember
Yeah.
him saying anything of that sort at all.
Yeah, you were gonna comment, and then you like you got distracted by what Justin or like what I said, because I was like, let me ask you something.
Well, the only thing that I even responded to in this subject was the fact that the guy dropped a buttload of information, and if this was a cartoon, my head would cartoonishly explode.
No,
because
you said something about equality.
I don't think he did. I don't remember him saying anything about equality.
Okay,
Unify,
we'll have to watch.
Unify, did
We'll
you
have
say
to
something
watch
about
the
equality? Or JD, maybe?
No, I didn't.
JD, did you say something about equality?
No.
Well, anyway, this is the strangest episode I will have recorded in a while, because
We'll have to watch it.
it is it was started one direction, and I'm not accustomed to being redirected so much, you know. I'm accustomed to falling victim to my own tendency to redirect. That makes this a fun adventure for me. Back to the original topic of collaboration styles.
You want to know why that was happening?
Why?
It's because I get really anxious about people forgetting to cover shit. Like, if you mention something and then don't finish it, it's like, what are you doing? You know,
Right.
Like, you need to say something.
Yeah, so I'll I'll try to complete the collaboration topic then by pointing out simply that working together on something requires both people to know what they want the media to do and be after they're done with it. So I put up some videos that are done, but they're rough. I put them up knowing that I'll probably never do anything with any of the concepts in any other capacity. That's probably just what it is.
You would like it, right?
I would what? You say I wouldn't like those videos? You
You
asked
said
me?
you would like it, right? Or something like that?
Well, I would. There are some of my own videos I do like. I mean, give a thumbs up to. Most of them I don't. And usually my standard is, if I go, I really like that one, I'll give it a thumbs up. The rougher stuff, it depends. You know, like all the Purgatory Lemonscape stuff, I am hoping someday to have a animated cartoon built around that whole universe and the various characters I have in it, and some of the storylines I've already got completed. And I mean, completed meaning the storylines worked out, not that it's scripted formally for consumption. But I could do that easily enough. That's not the
That would
difficult
be
part.
pretty badass.
Yeah, I would love for that to happen. And the only character that I really know for sure how he looks is Purgatory Lemon Squeeze, which is just a regular body with a lemon head. You know.
Are you going to make it so that each character is a different personality type?
No, not like
Not
that.
necessarily.
But they do tend to have personality types. But the point is, so if I'm collaborating with somebody on this project, it's another seed. Most people don't throw that many seeds out onto the ground, and so for most people, they're very concerned about this seed or that seed, and they're like, well, but I started this project on this thing here, and it's very important to me that it resolve in a certain way because I don't have a million different things in the works.
Oh, I see.
If you only have 5 videos up, you care a great deal about how each one of those 5 videos is doing. If you have almost 1,700 videos up, you understand the art project you're making as a massive thing that begins to take over everything. And it intersects with all the other characters. I mean, all these various meta worlds that I've constructed interface together ideally in my final vision of things. I've got a book called Gospel of the Pantheon, which has the deities and the theology of this fictional world. So the real world has their own religions, and this universe has its own religion as well. And it's the religion in Gospel of the Pantheon, in which there's a god of quality and objects, there's a god of text and of naming things, Curtis, and there's the god of adjudicating the quality of pieces of artwork, the beholder. There's Baby Lady Bay. I mean, that's not her title, but that's what she is, basically, the beholder. That's why she lives in a giant stone eye. Hence the expression, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. And there's Baby Lady Bay, who's basically god of relationships. There's Entroptricles, who's more or less a devil kind of character without any evil particularly to him. There's an actual evil god, Alienator, who's the god of static mortal truths, and characters in that book as well. And some of them intersect with this universe as well. So when I'm talking about a project, I'm thinking, here's this one little idea that here's a seed I could start germinating a bit. Now, if it turned out that X, Y, Z, A, B, C in 5-10 years, and if it turns out a million different things, then in theory this could lead to anything from absolutely nothing for you to this project ends up being something that gets actually developed, and then you're already in, because it matters when you arrive to a project to me. And this one is in its absolute infancy. Now, it's not even speculative. It's just playing around. Some projects end up being money related and others don't. But this one, eventually, is what I'm going to do something with. The Purgatory Lemonscape, that universe, and the coordination of those 2 universes. I mean, it's already coordinated with the Talking with Famous People universe, because the very first episode of it is this thing, and I've interviewed other characters since. I've interviewed Sunny Funshine, I've interviewed Sir Whisker of Meow Meow, who is both a cat and a knight, and the backup tailback for the San Diego State Aztecs.
What the?
He gets frustrated occasionally
crazy
because he's not the starting tailback, but he understands that he still has a valuable contribution to make to the team.
All right.
I can see on a reasonable term now.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, go ahead.
At the end of the day, I'm fine with whatever you pull up because I'm just happy to be part of a collaboration. I mean, my whole dream is to like be YouTuber and all of that, and here I am probably with my first ever collaboration, and I just I'm glad.
I think you should. I think you should listen. There's no reason why we can't make videos together as well. If you want to make a video together that is a talking video, and instead of putting it up on Talking with Famous People, put it over on your channel instead, that's fine. This makes it easy to do with somebody who's got 700 videos up there. I don't give a fuck. Right? It's a glorious place to be. I encourage you to get that place as well, where you get in the habit of instead of that energy you would spend fretting over whether this is good enough, understand that to get to the point where you can even take seriously the question of whether it's good enough requires you to practice it a lot.
What kind of goals do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
I just
As far
I
as
want to
YouTube
do.
goes.
I want to do YouTube. I'm cool with doing gaming, talking, vlogging. I upload almost daily even, and I sometimes put out stupid, silly skit videos, or I put down seriously dark subjects like suicide or self-harm, and not like encouraging, but talking about it. There's a bunch of random things.
That's cool.
It's good you're uploading daily, and
I find that.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go, Abraham. My bad. Go.
I find that a lot of times, what happens is that, and I'm saying this because it's something that I've seen. Right. Typically, what happens is, I'm assuming your goal is to create a following, right?
Well, my goal is
Or have
to
a
make a
following.
living off of YouTube.
Okay.
And to get a career, I guess I have to have a following.
Okay. So cool. So yeah, to have a following, not to necessarily. Well, yeah, to have a following, whatever. I feel that a lot of YouTubers, what happens is like a lot of them typically go into a general direction, and then they split into different categories. Like I realize one general trend of Eric's videos is that he talks a lot about Myers-Briggs, right? And that I think I wouldn't argue this because I haven't seen every single one of Eric's episodes, but Eric could probably affirm or disagree that same subject has brought towards Eric audience that's interested in being typed or that's interested in Myers-Briggs personality, not just on the surface, but on a more deeper intellectual level. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think I would say, I guess this is advice unasked for, but I'm saying that you should probably try doing a general path and then branch out. Because what I see is that you have a lot of. I can tell that you're probably like one of those very like creative people, right? And you'd like to branch out a lot because you told me right now your channel is just like different areas, right? From like skits to like really dark subjects. So I think that's really good. I like that. I think that's a very interesting channel. I feel like people will would appreciate it more as soon as you would have like once you have a following and you have a certain direction that you're going in and stuff, and then you start branching out. For example, like let me just give you a brief example and then I'll cut myself out short. So basically, there's this comedian, right? His name is David So, and he does like comedy stuff. And
no, so many likes. Stop the like all the time. I have to tell Delilah this all the time too.
Okay, so like you're gonna like listen to me for like a couple more.
You know,
No, seriously. So there's this comedian, okay, and he started off with a couple of skits online, right, on YouTube, and people liked them because they're obviously funny. This dude for a while was uploading comedic stuff like humor stuff, sketches, just comedy stand-up stuff, and then he then moved on to, like, for example, he has like a food channel, and then he has like a channel that's on a more personal level. And so people really, they get the entirety of him and like his creativeness, right? Instead of just having just like one set channel that's meant to cater for like one set group of people. And sometimes I feel like that also it limits people because, for example, you'll see like you know what an otaku is, right?
Oh yeah, I was an otaku.
Yeah, so some people otakus are basically weebs, people who are obsessed with the Japanese culture, anime and stuff of that sorts, right? Like cartoons and stuff. And so their channels will be based off of these things, and they'll have huge followings. But really, their followings or like their fan base could appreciate them that much more, watch their videos that much more, if they cater to just more than just one set group of people, which would be other otakus or people who are interested in those type of things. And that's one thing that Eric's really really good at too. Because for a while, it was like music, and then it was Myers Briggs, and then it still is music here and there. And that's what I think finds the channel very interesting.
Well,
So
I
that's
know like
that.
one of the collaborations is going to be the music.
Yeah, that too. That works too. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I
What?
think
There's
people
just
have
too
a
many
lot of
factors.
misunderstandings about how YouTube works, and
Right.
I
I'm
think
telling you from a viewer's perspective. So
So
I
you're
mean,
saying I should focus on something or get a wider
I
variety?
mean, at least from my perspective, right? Again, this is my opinion. Eric might tell you something a little bit more like uh, YouTuber advice, right? Because he's actually someone who does upload videos on a daily basis. But from a viewer's perspective, I think that typically, as far as me or, for example, some of my immediate friends, the way we're typically attracted to channels and subscribe and watch videos, yeah, these are there's a trend in these channels, and the trend is that these channels typically stick to one main subject. For example, gaming. For example, otaku stuff. The list goes on, right? Music, etc.
all right.
So
Let me chime in to cut this FE dance short. This massive FE dance. Look, the bottom line is, what he's saying is he thinks you should narrow it to a single subject. You should have a channel for each theme of stuff you do. And I will tell you that that is a way to go. It's not necessarily the best way to go, but it
right.
probably generally is the way to go.
Let me just interject though. It's not necessarily saying that you should create a channel specifically for each theme. I'm saying eventually, as your channel begins to grow and your fan base begins to grow, not just on the YouTube level but on other levels as well, you can begin to cater to different people as you hop subjects a little bit. That's my point. Now, whether that be creating channels or different categories, that works too.
Most
Yeah.
people would argue that the best straightforward strategy to take is to pick a topic, and or, I don't know if most people argue this. My argument, if I were to make what I consider to be a conventional argument, is the smart thing to do is to pick a subject matter that you have things to say about, and to get in the habit of recording yourself talking about those things and uploading them, because that approach provides you the opportunity to regularly produce content. Now, a factor that people don't seem to understand or don't take into consideration very much, I don't think, is the practicing part. Nobody's going to be good at making YouTube videos right away. And I'm not saying this from the perspective of somebody who is good at making YouTube videos. I'm saying this from the perspective of somebody who's better at making YouTube videos than he used to be. And I think that we expect something insane from ourselves if we think that we're going to produce great stuff immediately, and I think we do ourselves a disservice as well if we think that we can attain success by emulating too closely what's already successful. We can attain. I guess it depends.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I do entirely agree with that. You know what I mean? But I mean, me, you know, generally I like to observe and just go off of, you know, however the motion feels I should be doing something. You know, like if people, I'm not saying I'm not like a copycat entirely, but you know, if there's a, I don't know. For me, it's like I like to see a clearer path.
Yeah, of course you do, because you're NI, and you are T. No, you're T. You're SE, NI. Yeah, you do want to see a clearer path, but that's not often. That's not. But look, the thing is, it depends. You can do it either way, right? Look what the ENTJs did, their MBTV channel, which I've talked about a lot, but not today anyway. I mean, I've talked about it a lot today because it's representative to me of the conventional method of dealing with things. MBTV is carefully branded, it's polished looking, it's on a single, what they call evergreen topic in YouTube, which is a topic that produces steady traffic, like MBTI stuff. I didn't know that's what I was missing before in terms of getting viewership, but it turns out to be that's what it was. It was a topic that people have more than a short-term appetite for. In other words, it has a lot of depth. Now this is the sort of topic that's well suited for an NT or an NTP, and the reason being, we do this kind of analysis stuff naturally enough. For an ENTP, the approach I'm taking makes a lot of sense because there's a downside to uploading so many videos. Is if you have something that you can't fake and you can't construct, then you could be like Zachary. Zachary uploads a video and it gets shitloads of views, way more than mine, by a large margin. Now, I think it's fair and reasonable to say that it's not because the words he says are that much better than the words I say.
It's because white privilege, JK.
I think it's because of the complete package, right? He's got a lot of different factors that can join and make him a natural YouTube star.
Though, where is Zach, if you know? You don't know?
Where is he?
Yeah, do you know where he's at? Are you sleeping or something?
Well, I mean, I guess. I don't know where he's at. He's not
Like,
here.
Okay, because you told me that the other day you had a heated discussion with Zach or something. So,
Who told me that? Who told you that?
You told me that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I told you that?
Yeah.
Are you saying, like, am I having problems with Zachary? The answer to that is, I don't know. Zach's, I think we're experiencing INTP, ENTP breakdown, where the INTP priority is in conflict with the ENTP priority. I think when these conflicts occur, what I've concluded is that the ENTP is correct. And there's not even a conflict going on right now, but I know what's happening is that Zachary's doing his TI shit, trying to wonder if this is the right course for him or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He's likely considering that he should probably go branch out and make his own channel, but he's reflecting right now, quote unquote. So, I mean, my point is, he's
he's
he should do what he wants to
he
do, and
should
I'm
do what
not
he
gonna
wants
try
to do,
to
and I'm not
stop
gonna
him from
try
doing
to
things.
stop him.
You know, it's like
It's like
I encourage everybody to attain their own shit. I have a long history of sending off former assistant coaches to their own glories.
Are you salty, Eric?
I don't think so. I mean, I think I've got a lot of MSG in me.
Do you know what the term salty means?
Doesn't it mean like yeah, like eh?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
that.
Yeah, it's kind of like
salty.
What does it mean then?
Okay, because you don't know the entirety of the definition of what mia is, because it's very like vague. It's an insider.
Well, I don't know what
So it's
salty
like-
means either. It's very vague.
So mia is like it could mean a lot of different things, but it has a general like negative connotation to it. Where when you hear the mia, when you hear Eric say mia, that's basically saying that he's feeling feelings of negativity towards whatever is being brought to the attention of the mia.
It's
This
better
case, it would be
described.
Eric.
It's better described if you're salty. It often feels like people are or something is salt is being rubbed on the wound, or rather something like a bad situation is made worse. Or
All right. Yeah, that's a better
easily
description.
easily irritated by something,
And continuously irritated.
in a state of continuous irritation. The salty man poured more salt on everything.
it's like the weird in between of annoyance and anger, like between being annoyed and being angry.
We were talking about this. It's salt. That's what saltiness means.
Well, look, to get back to the actual topic here again, this is the longest fucking video ever to get through this
If
topic.
you'd have answered the question, I said, "Are you salty, Eric?" And you were just like, "What is that?" And
No,
then
I didn't say what is that. I said, yeah, I'm salty, or I don't know what I
Is
said.
that like yeah?
Oh yeah.
And then okay, so you're not salty.
I said I'm yeah. I'm somewhere between meow, pia, and piao. Now, look. Those important distinctions aside.
Let's
Yeah,
discuss the experience of
yeah,
Hitler in
yeah,
Germany.
yeah. What I was gonna say is this, which is like I keep wanting in my life always to frame things into a big, super huge frame and fit everything into that. And so, for me, it makes sense to try to have an art project that is taking advantage of my most natural ability, which is to just spit out a bunch of crap. Now,
It's a badass ability, though.
well, here's the thing. If you practice spitting out crap all the time, the crap you spit out gets less crappy. And hopefully not just entertaining, but you start to get a sense of, if you're an ENTP, of like, okay, well, maybe I can purpose this. Maybe I can make this more purposeful or something. Or maybe I can frame it like this.
Maybe you can mold the crap.
I think every person who wants to make stuff has to come to terms with this relationship that they have with their own creative processes. So I've got YouTube shaped in my channel to match my creative processes. I know I'm not going to have a lot of success finishing
You know what's badass?
big projects, but a lot of little projects is different. What's badass?
You know what's badass about Eric's channel? Is that it's personal. It's personal. It's not like you won't get like it's real, it's genuine, it's raw. You won't get like this very fucking I don't even know if that's the term. You won't get like this very like extrovert person with like a bright smile up in your face, up in the camera, like, hey, what's going on YouTube? Like today we're gonna discuss this. Like even though that's pretty energetic and pretty like
Are you talking about Courtney
like
from
extra-
Dang Swag Trends?
yeah, something like that. So like I don't know. I think that's what I like about Eric's video because it's not like you're not trying to put up a personality type to make yourself something that you're not on a social level.
Well,
And I do
You know what I
thank
mean?
you for that, Abraham. Go ahead, Haberdatcher.
Well, I mean, I just wanted to simply say, like, that is a quality I do have on my channel. I do like to make joke videos, but whenever it's something that's jokey, it's straight up like I ain't lying. Just wanted to make a video for fun. But when I want to get serious, I get serious. I talk about a lot of dark subjects that have
Yeah.
happened in my life, and I don't know.
Okay. I
Well,
don't think
yeah,
he
no.
meant that as a critique, Mr. Haberdasher. I don't think he is saying he's suggesting that that's something you pursue. I think he was sort of segueing away from that. But what I would say is what I already said about shaping it to your nature. So there's a lot of issues to talk about in terms of what's going to attract an audience. One of them is perceived honesty. Some people would perceive me as highly manipulative. One of the narratives that I've established and continue to develop here, because remember, for me, I'm sort of actualizing externally, but one of the narratives is that I prioritize transparency as an explicit value, and I find that to the extent, because I'm doing it for personal reasons primarily. The reason I'm doing the YouTube channel, I made a shitload of videos for a long time before I had any audience at all. And that's another thing to remember. What's your expected time frames on things? It takes a while. Now it takes a while. Still, I'm trying to inch up bit by bit to 1,000. It's a challenge. I put in an insane amount of work, quote unquote, into this. It just doesn't feel like work, so I'm just making little videos, you know. But I mean, those things are all things to consider. You know, if you feel as though you're not succeeding at the moment,
Yeah,
it
it's
may
like
just be that stage of the process still.
it's like you get what you put in, basically.
I think,
This is-
for me, I made a lot of videos before I made one that people liked. And I learned from that. And YouTube found it. It wasn't like it wasn't that I was doing something wrong, it's that I hadn't made that video yet. If you think about it that way, you have a different relationship with your stats. I made a lot of videos early on in which I explicitly stated, these are all public videos, you're going to watch them if you want. I'm sure they're going to be boring as hell, because here I am going to sit here and muse about my philosophy ideas and not care at all about any audience expectation about what a video ought to do. So I would have videos where I begin them by saying things like that, and then I'd go, because if truth, no, but if it did conform with, no, I don't know. What was I saying? You know, I just be sitting there thinking to myself in front of the camera. That was important for me to liberate myself from the thing that I think a lot of people are trapped into, which is being attached to this baby and insisting that it do something or be something before you want to make more babies.
So I'm gonna ask Mr. Haberdatcher a question.
Okay.
So so you, I think you said a weeboo or otaku, that you were an otaku or something?
Emphasis on were.
So how did that play out in your life? Like
Found some friends who were otakus that protected me from being bullied. Then I ended up liking the group and adopting their lifestyle because I wanted to.
what was that last term you used?
What?
Adopting their lifestyle.
No. The word what?
The
Bullied?
group. The group.
No, oh, okay.
Group.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, I couldn't hear you. That's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think otakus are pretty badass because they're like, I don't want to say they're rejects, but they're like just their own type of culture.
Well,
Yeah.
I got out of the culture because it wasn't.
I don't know.
Okay, look, guys, I've got to go fucking eat. I haven't eaten all day because I have not stopped making videos. I came on here to have a quick conversation with Mr. Haberdatcher about.
Thanks
Basically, I
for
want to
the
say, like,
invite.
think about this universe, because if we're going to collaborate on it, here's some details you need to know. And then a series of other people just up here, which is fantastic. I am not saying, hey, everybody, you have to wait till I invite people to come in here. I'm not saying that once back. You're welcome to show up any fucking time you want. I don't care. But I am saying I need to go to Denny's and eat right now. I am about to die of starvation. I'll talk to y'all later. This video, I think I stopped it already, is by just now, is going to be, I guess I'll upload it. I guess I will upload it, but I was going to say, see, really, anything goes here, because this is fucking
When are you
just,
gonna start having meetings at Denny's?
the Wi-Fi is not good enough. The Wi-Fi is not good enough. I tried it. Also, you only have they give you a 30 minutes worth of internet, and then your internet goes off.
Well, I mean, like, we have in-person meetings at Denny's all the time.
Yeah, well, we don't need internet for in-person meetings, Abraham. Okay, I'll see you. This is a strange one. Thank you for watching Talk with Business People. It's been fun. See you later.